You know, eyelash extensions can feel like a little bit of everyday magic, right? But behind that magic, there's actually a science to getting it right. A science that separates a beautiful look from some real, lasting damage. So we're going to dive into the professional standards to make sure your lashes are not only stunning, but truly safe.
So let's just get right to the big question. Are your eyelash extensions safe? Well, the answer isn't a simple yes or no. It really depends on whether your artist is following a strict set of professional standards, ones that are rooted in physics and biology. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly what those standards are.
At its core, this whole conversation really boils down to beauty versus damage. We're going to break down what extensions are actually made of and uncover the hidden risks that can pop up when things go wrong. And it all starts with the material itself.
Okay, first things first, forget anything you might have heard about mink or silk. Today's modern professional extensions are made from something called PBT, which is just a type of engineered polyester. It's super lightweight, it's flexible, and it holds its curl perfectly. But most importantly, unlike natural fibers, it's completely hygienic and consistent. This stuff is the foundation of safe, modern lash artistry.
Now, let's get into what I call the physics of a feather. See, every single extension, no matter how light it feels, puts a physical load on your natural lash. How much of a load? Well, that depends on three key things: its thickness, its length, and its curl. And understanding this relationship is, well, it's everything.
So this basically breaks down the menu a lash artist works from. Now, while the curl mostly just affects the visual shape, it's the diameter and the length that are the critical safety factors. The diameter, or thickness, directly determines the weight of the extension. The length, on the other hand, creates leverage, and if you get that combination wrong, you create some pretty dangerous mechanical stress on the hair follicle.
And that constant stress leads to this: traction alopecia. This is the #1 long-term risk of getting lash extensions done improperly. Now, the crucial thing to get here is that this is not an allergic reaction to the glue. This is hair loss from pure mechanical overload. The follicle literally just gives up from carrying too much weight for too long.
So, how do we prevent that from happening? Thankfully, the professional industry has a very clear set of rules designed for one reason: to protect the health of your natural lashes. And these are not just suggestions, they are the core principles of safe application.
So let's tackle the most common question people ask, and it's the one that has the single most important safety rule attached to it. Just how long is too long?
2 millimeters. That's it.
This is the magic number. Remember this because it's pretty much the golden rule of lash length safety. This is the core principle right here. Any extension that goes more than 2 millimeters past your natural lash dramatically increases the leverage right at the root, and that puts the follicle at risk. A great lash artist knows their job is to enhance your lashes, not to defy physics at the expense of your lash health.
So it all comes down to a really simple formula. Thickness equals weight and length equals leverage. It just makes sense, right? If you have fine natural lashes, you need fine, lightweight extensions. A long, thick extension creates the highest possible stress. The goal, always, is to keep that mechanical stress as low as possible.
Okay, so we've covered the visible threat, the physical damage. But there's an equally important, invisible threat we need to talk about: infection. The standards for sanitation in lash services have to be incredibly high, and for a very good reason. And the reason for this is just simple anatomy. A lash artist is working inches away from your conjunctiva, your tear duct, and the delicate margin of your eyelid. These are basically direct pathways for germs, which is why proper infection control isn't just a nice-to-have, it is an absolute necessity. A huge part of this is understanding the difference between cleaning and disinfection, because they are not the same thing. Cleaning just removes the visible dirt. You can clean a tool and it can still be covered in germs. Disinfection, though, that's the chemical process of actually killing those pathogens. A professional always does both, and always in that specific order.
You can think of it like a professional hierarchy. First, you clean, getting all the visible debris off. Then, you disinfect, using an EPA-registered solution for the required amount of time. The highest level, sterilization, kills absolutely everything, including spores. For tools like tweezers, proper disinfection is the minimum acceptable standard.
But listen, all the tool protocols in the world don't matter if this one simple step is skipped. The #1 way to prevent cross-contamination is for the technician to properly wash their hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds before and after every single client. It is the single most effective safety measure there is, period.
So we've covered the physics and the sanitation. Now let's put it all together into a simple checklist you can use to protect yourself and make sure you're getting a truly professional service.
Think of this as your cheat sheet. The next time you go for an appointment, just run through these questions in your head. Do you actually see them wash their hands? Are the tweezers coming from a clean, closed container, or are they just lying out on a towel? Are single-use items like iPads being opened from a fresh package right in front of you? And critically, do they have a conversation with you about what your specific lashes can safely support?
Ultimately, it all comes down to this simple but powerful idea. The goal of a true lash artist is to enhance, not to damage. True beauty and health should never be in conflict. And now you know exactly what that looks like in practice.